Welcome to part 2 of the Fimi X8 Mini introduction. It was going to be called
It's alive!
but some other things came up that I thought was of interest. And yes, it's going to be controversial. So we're going to talk about connections. It might be some little things to some people, but to me it's just frustrating. Fimi, have you not learned from history? It's been 3 years since the X8 SE came out, and yet Fimi still played with some of the same issues about connections. But first, let's take a look at this X8 Mini closer. Just rotating it around here, and what do you notice? Think back to the X8 or even the Xeno or even the Minis. What do you notice? There's absolutely no labeling, no stickers, no labeling, no nothing. The only thing there is a Fimi logo on the back of the battery. Nothing on the drone itself. Just the Fimi logo on the back of the battery. I wonder why that is. Why is there no labeling on the entire drone? Next, let's talk about the USB-C ports. There's one on the back of the battery, one on the controller. But if you look underneath, there's a micro USB connector underneath the micro SD card slot. I'm assuming that's for firmware updates, but there's nothing in any of the literature about it. Nothing at all. Everything else is USB-C. Okay. Beside that, you have the RC and Wi-Fi button. The only thing in the book states that RC is to be used when you're operating with the radio controller, and Wi-Fi is so that you can operate the craft with just your phone. But there's no information on how to do that, and we're going to try and figure that out a little bit later. But the documentation is really lacking in this point. So here we have 3 phones. We have an S8, we have an S7 Edge, and we have an S9 Plus. S9 Plus has an otter case on it, pretty heavy duty. It gets dropped a lot, and it's got a pretty deep cavity there for the USB-C connector. The S7 Edge, it has a clay coat case. It's pretty thick. It's a 3-layer case, and it's pretty deep as well. And that connector is a micro USB. The S8 has a Spygon case, which is pretty slim, pretty thin, but yet the connector for the micro USB, or pardon me, for the USB-C port is pretty deep. So if you take the original connector from the package that has the USB-C connector, and you try and connect it to the S8, and if this doesn't come up, I'll show you a better picture of it. But you'll notice that it won't fit. Again, like it was with the micro USB one, I would have to shave it down to make it fit properly. So again, from many years ago, maybe 4 or 5 years ago, they still are making the same right-angled connectors that don't fit really many cases at all. I had to shave this one down, and it fits perfectly now. No problem at all. Now the S9 Plus takes the USB-C, as does the S8. Now here we've got a whole bunch of connectors. We've got things from the past Fimis, we've got things from Mavic Air 2, And I had to buy some of these connectors, these Anchor connectors. They're basically adapters that go from micro USB to USB-C, and other ones are just extenders for USB-C, so I can plug them into the S9 and things like that. I've got all kinds of connectors. This one is probably, yeah, it is. It's the original one I bought for the Mavic Air 2. And you have to be careful which end is host and which end is for the phone. Host goes into the controller, the phone goes into the phone part. Another little thing that came up was, would the sticks from the old controller of the X8 SE fit into this new controller? They won't, because the adapter thread is thicker on the new controller than the X8. Now when you're plugging in the phone to the controller, you have to kind of slide it in on an angle. And then you pull it apart and put it down the other side. And you'll notice that it fits inside the grooves on either side of the controller, which is a good thing. But with this thick case, which really isn't that thick, but it is a little thicker than normal, it makes the connector strained a little bit, so it's a bit of an angle. Okay, so over time I'm sure that little bit of an angle may cause a problem with the connection. Now if I put the S8 in there, I don't think it'd have a problem at all. It's thin enough. But the S9, no way it's going to fit. So I have to use a holder. So this is the holder, and you've seen this before in some of my other videos. This holder with this phone holder that I took from a cheapy stand somewhere. The holder fits in perfectly to the controller, just perfectly. It's very stable, no problems at all. I can use the S9 Plus. I can put it onto the holder. It's pretty firm. Shake it about. No problems at all. The only thing is, what do I do to connect it to the controller? Well, the Mavic Air 2 has USB-C to whatever you want. So this wire fit perfectly, but I had to use the adapter end because the adapter end goes from micro USB to USB-C. So I plug in the host end to the controller, because that's the host, and I plug the other end straight into the case of the S9 Plus. And because that little adapter is a little bit longer, it fits in perfectly. Okay, and that's probably how I will fly the X8 Mini. Okay, the standard one just isn't long enough. There's no way it would fit. But this holder, I think, is the better way to apply a phone and even a tablet. And this wire I have will fit for both. I got a long list of stuff to go through, but basically we're talking about the wires here. And we have all kinds of wires, and we have to do some fine tuning, but it's going to work out great. And I do believe that using a holder is probably the best option. Next, we're going to look at the camera. Yeah, well, let's take this gimbal cover off and have a look at the camera, see what that's all about. Now, this gimbal cover is really, in my mind, it's really fragile, almost brittle. It's in no way comparable to the Mavic Mini gimbal guard. But I look up inside there, and it seems awfully open, and a lot of wind or stuff can get in there, dirt and dust. But yeah, don't forget to take that lens cover piece off. I've forgotten that many times in some drones. It's very hard to see, but it is there, so be sure you get rid of that. Okay. So now it's almost time to power it up. First, we have to download the app and use the QR code that's on the box, and you'll get it from the Fimi FTP site, I guess. And you download that and you register with your user ID and etc., etc. And then you get the app started up. And there's a few things in there to begin with that I want to take a look at.
So a
I'll show you the
fun few
app
little
here.
facts about this app here. When you first go into it, if you go up to the menu bars in the top right there, you can select all kinds of things. Your insurance code, if you bought the premium, you can put that in there and you can get registered for your insurance. You can check for updates. Already got the latest update. You can get help and feedback. It'll send you to websites. The About Us. You can check the user agreements, the policy, and the user data management system. Click that, put your email in there, and they send you an email with a link to a website. And I'll throw a picture of the website up, and it's Fimi Data Rights Center. No idea what it is. I'm assuming it's something to do with your flight data. So once you get a couple of flights in, you've uploaded them, maybe it comes up there. I don't know. We'll find out a little later. So we'll just go back out of this, back, and back, and you can go into the app. And
When you first enter the device, it gives you the new user guide tutorial. It's a series of slides, I guess it is. There's 4 of them, as you can tell here. And each one tells you something different. Basically, cautionary tale. Don't fly in high wires, or don't fly near buildings or in the rain or snow, etc., etc., etc. And then the next one is basically once you first start out, you're in beginner mode, which restricts your height, your distance, your speed. But you go into the app and in the settings, you can change that from beginner to whatever you want and get out of that. The next one should be coming up here. There we go. The next one is just a cautionary tale. Try and face the drone away from you when you take off, and just to prevent any unnecessary accidents, I guess. They're just being cautionary here. And the last one is it's preset into mode 2 with the throttle on the left. I believe actually in the app there's 3 modes, mode 1, 2, and 3, but you can choose between mode 1 and mode 2 if you really want to. Okay, and that's the end of that. Then you go back and you're into the app. It's not connected here, but you can connect the aircraft and go from here. So I think I've gone through just about everything and I'm ready to power it up. So the next one would be part 3, I guess. And maybe that will be when it actually gets fired up. So until then, enjoy. And I hope I wasn't too controversial for anybody. These are just things that I've noticed. Okay, so until next time, enjoy the weather and hopefully it'll be good enough to fly soon.